the next 4 quarters, only keep it light. Strapped in tight, we're taking flight. From the field to the court, we'll have our sight.
Welcome back. I'm Vic. That's Daryl. There's Gary. This is 4 quarters. And we got a special guest all the way from Philadelphia, Mr. Dave.
City of Champions, fellas.
What up, dude? Right? Yeah. God. It's all right, though. As long as it wasn't the Chiefs. As long as it wasn't the Chiefs, I'm good, man. We're good.
Yeah,
We're good all day.
I heard.
we get tired of Patrick Mahomes on this podcast. Not saying he's not great, but God, we get tired of that guy. We're Bronco fans, so we got to see that guy twice a year.
Speaking of the Broncos, Speaking of the Broncos, and we're going to start off with the recap of free agency. I mean, does this get the feeling of like when we got to keep Talib, DeMarcus Ware? I mean, the Broncos are killing it.
I mean, defensively, yes. Like I'm thinking if we get like Cooper Kupp, like if somehow we can pull off Cooper Kupp, then we can draft the running back and our O-line with the draft and be fine. I think we'd be pretty solid. I think we're missing that go-to target. Like they're saying Evan Ingram's going to be the Joker, and that's cool. But I need that third and gotta have it guy. And I think Cooper Kupp would be great.
Right before this started, I saw a little article talking about Christian McCaffrey possibly getting dealt away by the 49ers.
You know, I'm a homer. Like, I like Christian McCaffrey. But I don't know, man. After that kind of injury and all these, like, experimental, like, surgeries, I'm like, I don't know that I would spend any money on the guy.
Hard saying. It'd be interesting.
But yeah, way interesting. But Greenlaw and Hufanga, amazing. Like, those are amazing signings.
Yeah, I don't know what I think the key is getting some weapons, for Knicks out there. I think you're going to take a running back, either Genty or, you take a tight end in the draft in Warren or Loveland from Michigan, paying $30 million for a receiver. I'm not sure that's what they're going to do right now. I think they'd be more inclined to maybe build through a young guy with Knicks and they could develop, together.
Yeah, I think you can get Cooper Kupp cheap because he's only played 9 games last year and then the year before. So you could probably get him on a pretty cheap deal. That's the only reason I was like, yeah.
How much should they give Evan Ingram?
18 million
2 years,
for 2
36.
Years.
That's not bad because he's coming off an injury too. But minus that, he's been one of the top 5 tight ends in the league since he was drafted.
Well, he did have that one outrageously fantastic game for the Jaguars. Remember, he had 200 yards,
with the Jaguars was
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, and he had one game that was
play in the NFC East, Dave.
Yeah, he played for the Giants for a little bit. The biggest thing with Ingram and you're talking about his money, Vic. Ingram is probably going to get paid $1 million per drop right now. He's traditionally not too handsy, and then dropped a lot of balls. It's kind of derailed his career. He had the one good year with Jacksonville, but he's kind of like Featherstone. From the Replacements movie, he has the tendency to drop the ball. We might want to put some stuff on his hands, that Featherstone put on for the Replacement.
He's going to be out there like that guy from The Longest Yard. I'm open, hit me.
Don't invite Dave again. Note to self. If he's just going to bag on the Broncos, fuck Dave.
I mean, he is in the driver's seat with Philly right now. Philly looked good. They looked real good.
We did, we lost a ton. We lost 4 of our key contributors on defense. You win a Super Bowl, and the NFL is not set up to be dynastic. You win a Super Bowl, you're going to lose some guys. You got to be able to hit on the draft, right? I mean, I think that's the key. That's what we were able to do the last couple of years here in Philly. So it feels
you guys
good.
Got Jalen Carter. That was a steal. Like Jalen Carter was a steal.
Well, yeah, he's not a great driver, and he dropped down, to us in the draft, and we were lucky enough to, to get him. He had some off the field trouble at Georgia, but I think his driving issues are behind him, and he had a great year.
As long as he doesn't Henry Rugg it, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
As long as he's not in that boat. They were talking about that guy making a comeback, maybe.
He's eligible for parole in 2 years, fellas.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He would have been a beast.
You just kind of wonder what he's been doing in the slammer, right? You're like, he's probably been working out. He's gonna come back like heavy. He won't be as fast.
Yeah. Or full of tattoos and a drug addict. One of the other.
Either way.
Either way.
He can go either
You
way.
never know. It
Fits
could go
right
either
into
way.
the NFL.
Right?
Either way, he's right.
However, like the NFC East is getting a little easier since the Cowboys have no idea what they're doing. You know, you got the Cowboys' biggest problem is Jerry Jones, who waits forever to pay people and then he has to overpay. And he's got Micah Parsons coming up, and if they spend the money on Micah, like where else are they gonna like?
They got
Listen, you say the NFC East got easier. Did you see what the Commanders did?
I'm right with you,
Yeah, but
Vic.
I go with Dan Quinn's like mentality of I can blow a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. I can get there, but you know.
Well,
Debo Samuel's on an offense that was already good.
well, you
Right,
got
but
Samuel.
Debo's been hurt too.
Yeah, you got
he hasn't been
Samuel.
doing as good lately.
You got who?
Like I like Jaden. I think Jaden's great.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
got
What were you
Debo
gonna say,
Samuel.
Dan?
You got Debo Samuel. You got Laramie Tunsil, who's, the left tackle that they needed, from the Texans. That was a huge trade. The Texans are saying, hey, listen, we don't really give a hoot about C.J. Stroud. We let up 52 sacks last year. Let's get rid of our best offensive lineman, and that'll really help our quarterback. We here in Philly are, the Commanders are the team to deal with. But I'm with you guys. I can't take seriously a guy in Dan Quinn who just wears his hat backwards on game day. I'm sorry, fellas.
He's trying to create a strategy like Bill Belichick with like the sleeveless hoodie. Dan Quinn's going to do the hat backwards.
I mean,
Yeah.
it worked for Sean Payton cutting off his sleeves. Remember that one game? He's like, I can't coach with these sleeves on. They cut him off, and then we won. It was
Well-
weird. But
well,
then you got
speaking
the
of-
Giants, and the Giants have no idea what they're doing either. Like they're waiting
No.
on. They're going to sign Russell Wilson. Like really?
Is that where they say he's going?
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Steelers, the Steelers will
Russell
sign
Wilson or Aaron
Russell.
Rodgers.
But if Russell goes back to the Steelers, then the Giants are without a quarterback.
Mm.
They have Tommy DeVito. They're doing great.
That's like being the fastest slow kid on both of them.
Yeah.
You want Aaron Rodgers, who's basically, what is it, 44, 45?
Yeah. They like Pittsburgh has always been like a decent quarterback away from doing like really well. Like even though they make the playoffs, it's like cool first round exit every year.
Well, I
I
think
don't
with
know,
the
man.
Giants, I think with the Giants, I think the philosophy is this. If it's got to be Tommy DeVito, I kind of liken it to playing Little League and being young again. His family's going to bring good food. They're going to have cutlets. You play Little League stuff. You suck as a team, but whoever's got the best snacks won at the end of the day, right?
Right. They'll be happy.
If it's Tommy
like the whole
DeVito,
team have orange slices,
and-
it's fine.
And you got the cutlets, you got the best food. That's the way I look at the Giants right now. So
Oh, they're bad. The
It's
other
not
part,
good. And because like then who do they pick? Like so if Cleveland, who Russell Wilson is also in the running for, you got Cleveland who may or may not take a quarterback, depending. And if Cleveland doesn't take a quarterback, then the Giants, or is it Giants 2? Is Giants 2 this year?
Giants are 4. I'm sorry, the Giants are 3 this year.
3.
You got
So
the
Cleveland's
Titans
2.
1
So
and Cleveland 2. Yeah.
So if Cleveland doesn't take a quarterback, the Giants will probably take Shadur. So if it'll probably be Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Shadur, or Cam Ward, Shadur, random, and then we'll see where Travis Hunter falls.
Travis Hunter.
But
I don't know how you don't pick Travis Hunter first.
Well, because it's the Titans and they've done terrible on quarterback choices.
And this is not a good quarterback draft, so I
No,
wouldn't touch that.
they are not in the Aaron Rodgers running or the Russell Wilson running. So it's like, who do you got?
Yeah,
It's
I don't
bad
know.
when like Mac Jones going to the Niners makes news.
Yeah.
I think with Travis
Not
Hunter,
as bad.
the biggest thing is the party has to be near the stadium because he's got to drop his girlfriend off and wait for her outside
The party's got to be at the stadium,
after the game.
Little sidebar of girlfriends and dropping them off. You want to talk about somebody that got dropped? Dave and I were talking earlier. Did you guys see the Shumpert freaking divorce settlement?
No.
No,
Pull it up, Daryl. This is the most ridiculous thing on the planet. I don't
you're
even
talking
know
to
if
Mom
this is-
Shumpert from the Knicks,
Yes.
the old Knicks player.
Yeah. This is the most ridiculous thing on the planet.
This is from Realtor.com. So let me throw this up here. Tiana Taylor will receive 4 homes worth $10 million as part of a multi-million-dollar divorce settlement.
Jesus.
What the hell are you going to do with 4 homes?
Did you say she's already worth like $5 million? She was rich before the divorce, Dave.
Yeah, she's worth $5 million, but scroll down. Look, she's getting a $300,000 Maybach, a $70,000 Sprinter Mercedes van, and the kicker here is she also gets a tour bus. as well. So, I'm in with everything else, but I'm not giving up the tour bus, fellas.
Yeah, where's she going to tour? The neighborhood? She's like, I'm just going to tour from my house to my next house.
Yeah.
God.
Hey,
Honestly, I would rather get rid of the houses. I'd rather get rid of the tour buses rather than be that guy from Ghost Adventures whose wife hired a hitman to kill him.
What? So
have you ever watched Ghost Adventures? Like the spooky,
years
we
ago.
go look at haunted places thing on Travel Channel.
Uh-huh.
And still on. Well, the tall bald guy, Aaron Goodwin, his wife talked to an inmate in a prison in Florida, where you are, paid him like $2,500 to hire a hitman to go kill her husband because she didn't want to divorce him.
I just don't understand how $2,500 wasn't enough to actively unalive somebody.
Right? Yeah. She was even saying, "Oh yeah, he's at the hotel sleeping right now," and then they questioned her, and she's like, "It wasn't for a hitman." That's exactly what I said. It wasn't for a hitman.
I got a couple questions.
Says, "Go kill him." Nah, it's fine. That ain't a hitman.
I have a couple questions on that. I mean, one, Vic, you work in the prison. You've been in the prison for years. How is this lady texting with an inmate?
Yeah, unfortunately, there is more cell phones in prison than we want to have. But I'm sure just like guns in America, if you make them illegal, they won't have them. Just like prison, if you make them against the rules, inmates won't have them.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious, whatever happened to some good old-fashioned, keep stuff on the down low. You pick your phone up on your side of the glass. I'll pick my phone up on my side of the glass. And we'll keep this on the down low.
Yeah. No one will have any record of this. Now, they're like, everyone will know. It's fine. They'll know I did it. That's called not having a plan.
Yeah, they've been rich for some time, obviously, because he's had ghost hunters for...
Yeah, forever. It's on like 24 seasons or something, 26. I don't know. It's been on forever. It's still on.
I don't even know how that show stays on. Like, I don't understand how people watch that.
Dude, I watch that show sometimes.
I agree with all of those things. But here's what I want to say. If you have that much money, why are you skimping on a hitman?
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
I mean, discount hitman? Like hitman for discounts? Like, I don't know. She went to the Dollar Tree to hitman.
Yeah, like,
that's it.
What are you thinking? $2,500?
Maybe that was just the down payment, like, I'm going to give you this so you can buy the gun and ammo. As soon as it's done, I'll transfer you the rest.
How did she get caught?
I'm not sure. Like, it was just, it came out like somebody broke the story when they're like, yeah, here it is. Like, I was like, that is wild. I would imagine someone got a hold of her phone and was like, dude, is this for real? And they're like, yeah, that happened. I don't know what to say.
I read an article that said that the cops got her phone. She denied sending the text messages. Apparently 2025, she doesn't understand that, you could pull up phone records and easily see whether a text message was sent or not.
Yeah, so the show's been on 26 seasons. Jesus. It's been on the air since 2008.
Since longevity.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Like, people just keep going with it.
The Simpsons are nearing like 40 years soon.
You guys remember when you were a kid? Like, my parents were so mad.
Simpsons was like the worst thing to watch.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom was like, "You can't watch The Simpsons."
Eat my shorts, dude.
Yeah. Oh, so they obtained the phone of the Florida prisoner named Grant Amato in October last year. He was 35, sentenced to life in prison in 2019 after being found guilty of first-degree murder. His phone contained text and Facebook messages shared between him and her.
Okay. My next question is this. If he's in prison for 35 years since 2019, I'm not real good at math. When did she think he was going to kill him?
Yeah.
No, he hired somebody outside the prison.
How did she find this guy?
I don't know, man. Girls are weird. Like, you give a girl some time in Facebook, they can find all kinds of shit.
Oh, my God.
You know how it is. They're detectives. They're like low-level detectives. Like, if you want to get to the bottom of something, tell some girl, hey, your old man's cheating on you. She'll find everything about anybody. She'll dig up, like, 50 years in the past, like your bloodline, everything.
That's reasonable.
I'm just saying, that's how it works.
Hey, Gary, you had a rebuttal for the Wilt Chamberlain. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. So I lost a lot of the shit I'd looked up because I wasn't prepared last week when you brought it up. But you said Bill Russell was able to beat him, and that made it to where it wasn't just due to Wilt's size, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were trying to say.
37-27. He won the head-to-head more than he lost.
So Bill Russell, yes, he was 6'10", right?
Uh-huh.
He had a 6'10", 6'11". He's 2 to 3 inches shorter than Wilt.
It matters, Gary. We've gone over this many
all it
weeks.
does. Height matters.
Inches matter.
Bill Russell's arm span was 7'4".
Okay.
Pretty fucking impressive. And Bill Russell was also able to go to the Olympics for the fucking high jump. So that guy's vertical was fucking ridiculous.
Your argument
to compare the two.
Your argument has been that Wilt Chamberlain was only good and Bill Russell were only good because everybody else was short. The average height of the NBA player wasn't that tall. So then I went back and I found like Walt Bellamy. I found Hall of Famers from the 50s and 60s that all were over 6'8". Meaning, yes, they were tall, but even back in the day, you still had tall NBA players. It wasn't like the anomaly that
you did have some tall players. Yes, I am saying that. I'm not disagreeing, but they were far fewer than 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain, who weighed 275 fucking pounds and could bench 500 pounds. The guy was a fucking freak.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
Yes,
he was
a fucking freak.
He was awesome.
And those guys had nothing. Like, I tried looking up because it's always Wilt's 100-point game. How impressive that is. So I looked up the two centers.
We have a rebuttal for that too.
Darryl Imhoff, I couldn't even find his wingspan, and Cleveland Buckner. Couldn't find his wingspan. Cleveland Buckner averaged fucking 6 points a game and 3 rebounds for his career.
I think you're making
not exactly an impressive player.
I think you're making the case that Wilt Chamberlain is that good because there's other guys with the height and the wingspan who didn't score 100 points.
I can't find any of their wingspans, so the only two I was able to find that I looked into was Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
So I guess the thing is, go back to the 100-point game and see how tall that other team was. Were they all a bunch of short guys?
6'10" and 6'8" were the two players that were the centers in that game.
But the rest of them, like their guards, like how tall are
I
they?
don't know. I'm assuming they're
like, did they have a couple Muggsy Bogues out there? And he's like, I'm just gonna run past this dude.
I'm assuming they weren't any taller than 6'6".
Right. I would assume they're probably short. You know.
Yeah.
Of course, a 6'3" basketball player looks tiny compared to a 6'3" NFL player, which is weird. You know, like Steph Curry's like 6'3", he looks tiny. You know, and then you look at like an NFL player like Bo Nix is like what 6 foot, 6'1".
No, I thought he was
tall as shit.
3. I thought Bo Nix was tall.
I thought he was kind of short.
I thought he was short. I thought he was pretty similar to Drew Brees' height.
Nah, Drew Brees was short.
God.
Drew Brees was what, 5'11"?
He's 6'2". Sorry, Bo Nix 6'2".
Yeah.
So Steph Curry's taller than Bo Nix, but he don't look it. Like when you watch a basketball, you're like, this guy don't look that tall, and he's tall as hell.
Wilt Chamberlain. Still one of the greats.
Yep.
Because...
I'm not saying he's not.
No.
I never said he was not.
I'm saying the 10,000 women was more impressive than the 100 points.
Far more impressive.
Dave?
Well, they're going to find tape of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. About the same time, they're going to find Jimmy Hoffa, right? I don't think either one exists, first and foremost, right? It was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the only thing significant in Hershey, Pennsylvania is the Hershey Chocolate Factory, all right? So I don't think anybody was there at that game that could attest to the fact. Listen, I'm a Philly boy. I told you guys that when I came on. Wilt is an Overbrook High School guy, and I've spent my whole life hearing stories about Wilt from Sonny Hill, who's the basketball legend here in Philadelphia. And not only was Wilt the best basketball player, he was the best athlete in the city in high school. He was a track and field
he was a freak athlete.
And he was freakish. And, I think any era Wilt plays in, this era today, even when they, run 3-point line to 3-point line, it wouldn't matter. Wilt's that good athletically where he'd be dominant in any era, against any center, against any scheme. I mean, for God's sakes, they changed the rules of the game for him to accommodate the fact that he was a little bit taller than some of the guys. They widened the 3-point lane, and he still put up the numbers that he put up. And, even when he didn't put up those scoring numbers, he led the league in assists. He was a multifaceted basketball player. So, I'm not sure, that any hate on Wilt is warranted. I think he's one of the top players that have ever played the game, top 5 player that's ever played the game.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Our argument was just because he's taller than everybody, it was easier for him.
His height made it easier back in that. And his freak athleticism. You didn't have.
And so Victor said everybody else was as tall.
Yeah. I was just saying, no, his height played a big factor into how dominant he was back then. Not saying he couldn't dominate other eras, but it was a big factor.
Was 7'6".
Yeah, but he liked the skill too. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't an athlete.
Which all makes how great Wilt Chamberlain was.
Hey, killing lions with a spear is an athletic feat, fellas. And Manute was very good at
that. And there's our next band.
Yeah, and how fast have you ran it? You know, have you ever ran in the safari? I have not.
Yeah, yeah, probably not. What?
I think Manute's most impressive feat was naming his son Bol. So he has the same first name as last name, and you never forget who he is.
No. Yeah,
at that point.
That guy was kind of disappointing too. Like the Nuggets had him, and then he didn't do anything. Yeah. And now we're like, oh hey, he's playing in this game. It's like, man, that guy's still in the league.
Yeah.
Well, that's how bad the Suns are right now. He's landed with the Suns, and he's actually a starter.
Yeah, well, that's because the Suns don't know how to control their money either. They're ran by a Jerry Jones type. Like, throw all kinds of money at just a couple of stars. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like the New York public school district. You know what I mean? Throw money at the problem.
Hey, speaking of Jerry Jones, did you see that DeMarcus Lawrence video when he's talking about the reporter standing there talking to him? And he goes, so, you know, what made you decide to come to the Seahawks? And he goes, well, you know, I live in Dallas. Dallas is my home. But let's just be real honest. I'm never going to win a Super Bowl there.
True.
Dave likes that
true.
shit.
Like, truer words have never been spoken. Like, until Jerry Jones is gone, they're not going to be relevant like that.
No, I don't think so either. Where do you guys think Gardner Minshew's going to go?
Oh, no, he went to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He signed today, Kansas City.
Yep.
Bastards.
I mean, Gardner Minshew's getting around, or he's going to every team. He's like, I'll be on this team for a year, that team for a year.
Well, it's perfect
Ryan
for him.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I mean, Gardner Minshew, it's perfect. He doesn't have to look for housing. He lives in his trailer. There's not much to move. You know, he's very low maintenance.
He just drives there and parks in the stadium. He's like, we're good. Give me a hookup. I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you see his newest promotional video?
No.
Oh my God, dude. You got to pull this up. It's amazing. He's got the mullet. He's got like a fucking hairy chest, and he's doing a workout to Creed Higher. You guys haven't seen this?
No.
Oh my God. It is amazing.
So I just got to know, and I'm sure I know the answer already because you were the one bringing it up, but is he shirtless in the video?
I just told you.
No, you just said he had a hairy chest. You didn't say he was shirtless. You just said he had a hairy chest.
Listen, it popped up on my timeline. I was dying laughing when I watched it.
I can't help it.
I can't help but have naked Minshew's up on my timeline.
It's reasonable. That is all reasonable things. The hype video, though, is fucking hilarious.
Oh, I've liked Gardner Minshew ever since he came out. Like, he's not a great quarterback, but
he's fun to watch.
He's just a fucking, he's Uncle Rico, man.
Uncle Rico. He looked like Uncle Rico in this video.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is shirtless. just the way Vic likes him. There you go. Here comes the band.
Oh my God, is that not hilarious? Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that mullet and mustache.
Guys, is that Peter North or Gardner Minshew?
I mean, if he had a little less facial hair, that'd be Sam Darnold according to Vic right there.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Oh my goodness.
Peter North. I don't think they know who Peter North is. They're not that familiar with the adult.
That's the guy that goes through, 3 streamers.
Yeah,
3 long
knows
streamers.
The streamers. Oh my God.
3 long streamers.
Yeah. He threw a nice rope of beads just many times.
Oh my God.
String of pearls, you know?
All right, that was out of line. The long streamers.
We're all old, you know? Like, we had to watch porn on VHS, so that's how old we are. And your dad knew when you didn't rewind it. You're like, oh, man, I should have rewinded to that part. My bad.
Dude, Dave's so old. It was before VHS.
He's on Betamax?
Betamax?
He's got that old time projector. He's like, oh, we gotta make sure we get this reeled up good.
No,
Looks like Christmas Vacation, but it's porn.
Yeah, he got the little slides that you like when they used to show your vacation, like click click click.
And just next slide.
Sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to bring up your age, buddy.
That's okay.
He's got porn on the overhead projector. You're like, all right, that is what it is.
Sliding the papers in.
Yeah, slide the paper in, color a little bit. You're like, oh, these aren't pink enough. We gotta color that in a little bit.
Kids today will never know the pain of that.
No, but they'll also never know the excitement of the TV cart when it came into the class. You're like, oh, it's turning up today. We got TV day. Anyway, going back to free agency, what are the damn 49ers doing?
Nothing good.
See, Gary's our resident 49er fan. He's been calling for them to fire Shanahan for years now. And now they're getting rid of the entire team and keeping Shanahan. So he's got to be
keep Shanahan, get rid of your good players. Fuck it.
Just continue.
If you're Brock Purdy, why do you want to sign there? I'm just curious, Gary. I mean, what is the what's the?
I mean, why would you?
Right.
Like you got George Kittle. You still got McCaffrey if they keep him and he stays healthy somewhat. And Brandon Ayuk. The defense ain't going to be as good. They're Deebo Samuel, like he still took coverage away, whether he was that productive or not. He still got double coverage sometimes.
See, and
like,
I never saw Ayuk as a 1. Like that was the problem.
No,
like, Ayuk's not a 1, but they're going to pay him as a 1. He's their 1, which is not a 1. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't think he's even
Deebo Samuel was always the number 1 there.
I don't think Ayuk. I think Ayuk is not even as good as Cortland Sutton.
Oh.
No, he's got some speed and he can run a good route, but like, he's not the guy like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, who's going to break tackles.
I mean, but now the Niners got Mac Jones.
That's right.
He's got a little competition in Mac Jones.
Yeah.
They signed him 2 years, $7 million, man.
No, they're done. They're not gonna. I don't see him doing good this year.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Like, makes no sense.
Yeah.
But the Rams got Devontae, so that's good for them, I guess. Like if Devontae actually shows up, like if Devontae could be half of what Devontae was in Green Bay, it's good for them. And then the Seahawks were like, yeah, let's sign Sam Darnold. He had one amazing year with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota.
I mean, but is he worse than Geno Smith?
No, he's just not as mobile. And I think that's going to bite him because I don't think their line's as good as everyone thinks it is.
He got tremendous quarterback training to start his career with the Jets, right? Darnold, you know what I mean? And he did go to San Francisco, and play under Shanahan as a backup. And obviously we know he went to Kevin O'Connell. So, he's played outside of the Jets. He's played for a couple good quarterback coaches and guys that can really, teach you how to play the position. And, get back to San Fran. I think a part of San Fran is Shanahan and those guys saying, hey, listen, we have so much belief in our system. We can plug and play. We can put some guys in there and, kind of teach them how to play and not have to pay them as much. And, we're going to start to rebuild that way. I believe that's what San Fran is doing. So we'll see if it works. That division is crappy, like you said, other than the Rams, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then you got Arizona, who I haven't heard really anything from Arizona.
Dave,
they signed somebody. They signed Josh Sweat, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take, Dave. Only because that's exactly what Mike Shanahan used to do, obviously his dad. And, you thought about it, they freaking pulled that running back that didn't even know he was going to start, ran for like 190 yards or something crazy. Remember that?
Yep.
So he's not that far off to say, hey, look, it's our system more than it's our players.
Or maybe they just decided, hey, we tried to just throw money at the problem and that didn't work. So let's see if we can just do it. Because we're playing these backups anyway. Because it's like they got rid of their money guys, so they're like, okay, so we're gonna do it without money this time because the guys we pay don't even play. We're playing backups anyway.
The one thing that I think that is severely being underlooked is the freaking.
Oh no, I think they're gonna be sneaky good. Yeah, Vrabel. I have a lot of confidence in Vrabel.
I think they could have been good last year. Then Drake May is a decent quarterback. Like he proved that last year in the little bit of starts he got.
Who did the Patriots all sign? I was reading that the other day, and I was like,
they spent a lot of money. They spent the most money, I think, in free agency. I'm coming up here. So they signed Mac Hollins from Buffalo. Austin Hooper re-signed. Morgan Moses, Harold Landry. That's the one. The linebacker from the Titans.
Yeah.
They signed Milton Williams from Philly, and then
Philadelphia.
How is Milton Williams, Dave?
Milton Williams is good, but to make Milton Williams a $26 million a year player, which is the highest contract in New England Patriots history, even higher than the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, is a little crazy to me, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of that guy. What is he?
lineman, defensive line.
he's a defensive tackle. Yep.
I was shocked about
going to the Bills?
Joey Bosa.
Makes no sense.
We just need Vaughn to come home.
No, we need
now,
Vaughn
guys.
for a day contract.
That's all.
Let him sign a day, let him retire as a Bronco, be done.
Oh, you don't think he'd be a good rotational player?
No,
You
I
guys
think he
don't
lost his
Von
speed
Miller is a
off the
rotational player?
edge. It is.
That's disappointing.
I like Vaughn, but I think he needs to retire a Bronco.
Oh, he will.
Yeah,
he loves
he
Denver.
will.
He loves Denver. Hey, anybody else got anything
Zach
more
Wilson
for the
going to the
free
Dolphins.
agency?
Good old Dolphins. Like, hey, as like now they're not one concussion away from like being irrelevant. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't sign him last year.
I don't
or
think
trade for
I don't
him
think they
last
want to give
year.
anything up.
You know what I mean? Stupid. They wasted a whole year. If they would have had a Zach Wilson or a fucking Sam Darnold or something like that, they would have made the playoffs.
Just somebody that could not
Because
lose
now it's
every
like
game.
he's got a big arm.
Yes.
Just have him drop back and throw it to Tyreek. Like that's what they got.
Yeah. Now, so if we're done with the roundup, it wasn't on our list of topics, but I do want to touch on. We have somebody on the podcast who doesn't think that Nikola Jokic is the MVP.
You don't think he's the MVP?
I do not. I'm giving the
Oh,
MVP
man,
to SGA.
I was hoping
I've
you'd come
told
with somebody
Vic
else.
Yeah, I told Vic this many times. I have a limited time to watch Nikola Jokic play, and the first time that he plays defense, or the next time that he plays defense will be the first time that he plays defense. He's actually a liability on the defense.
I mean, his defensive ranking is higher than SGA's.
Yeah, you know what? The Phillies had an outfielder, Bobby Abreu, who I used to watch for 162 games a year in right field, and he was absolutely awful. And he won a Gold Glove one year for some reason. So, the rankings don't mean too much. What I see with my own eyes, and he plays defense kind of like a little Matador style. There's a song by Miguel called Skywalker, and he's basically shooing the Matador by the bullet.
But don't you think that's because he would get
basis,
they call a foul on him, and if he fouls out of the game, then the Nuggets are atrocious. If he leaves the court, they suck. They're like 29th in the league.
Yeah, his plus minus rating is pretty good. The problem is that Denver's a number one
With him on the
offensive team
court.
in basketball.
With him on the court, when he's off the court, they're hot, just awful. They're hot garbage.
Right. Yet they're middle of the pack in the West. Right now, they're fighting from anywhere from a 2 to a 5 seed, and you can't score 125 and give up 125. That formula
right, but the Thunder were the number one defense, and they gave up 140.
Yeah, that's an anomaly.
to a team
every once in a while.
that is that dominant.
For them.
Listen, but it's still 140.
Yeah.
140.
They did rebound with that win over the Celtics, which is that's good.
Yeah, they took one from the Nuggets.
My
they took
thought
the
is
first
like
of two from
Nicole is the best player in the league. However, MVP is going to go to SGA. It's going to go. It's going to go to SGA. Like regardless of whatever happens, it's going to SGA.
Yeah. Can I give you my opinion on that as well? And I've thought about this. The NBA is becoming a global game. And if you look at the last 5-6 years with the MVP, it's gone to guys from different countries. You got Jokic from Serbia. You got
Giannis.
From Cameroon. You've got Giannis from Greece. SGA is from Canada. Look at the new television contract with the NBA. 11 years, $76 billion, almost $7 billion a year. And it's not the Americans that are watching, because I think we can all agree on this podcast that the game itself is compromised. It's not a fun product.
It's nowhere near as physical as it used to be.
Like
we talk about this all the time. Like when it was like Magic and Bird, like Jordan, the Bad Boy Pistons. You're like, that was a physical league. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining. Now it's finesse.
Sure. Yeah. Am I right to say that the NBA has kind of followed suit with the NHL and become a little Europeanized?
Got to water it down. Yeah. The NFL is trying to do that too, and it's like, this is a contact sport, guys. Like we have to play contact football.
Yeah, you need to keep it a contact sport.
I wish they would get rid of or at least review penalties that are like 15 yards or more. any penalty that's 15 yards or more goes into review. Like in that playoff game again with the Texans and Chiefs, when Mahomes just got kind of like touched in the face, and they're like, "Oh, 15 yards, roughing the passer." I was like, "That's kind of bullshit." You know what I mean?
It's
like,
so bad. But I will say this, and I don't necessarily completely go on the side of the NFL, but man, they're so big and so fast now. You have to do something to protect a little bit of the players, because you used to see these guys, Antonio Brown. We talk about him all the time. The dude's a freaking lunatic from getting hit. Like
Vontaze Burfict, man. He gave the Broncos Super Bowl 50.
He really did, because he killed Antonio Brown. He killed Antonio Brown.
Yeah, it's one of those, though. I wanted them to just be like, screw it. Let them get steroids. Let them get so big that, like, if they were so big and they ran into each other, they would just both explode. That's what I wanted. Let them go murder each other. Like, yeah, let them go explode. That'd be great.
Modern day gladiators.
Yeah.
like you run into the sidelines. If you run to the sidelines and you like willingly give yourself up, to be down right there. Not like Mahomes or Justin Herbert or whoever else. Lamar, everyone trying to like do that. Like, oh, I'm gonna walk, like just tightrope the sideline a little bit just to get around you guys. No, you're gonna eat shit if your whole body's not out of bounds.
Yeah.
What about we said we weren't gonna do it, but then you brought up the Ravens. What about DeAndre Hopkins go to the Ravens?
It is what it is, man. Like, you can give Lamar 100 receivers and Lamar's going to be Lamar.
Afraid of that?
Like, it doesn't matter who the receiver is. Lamar's going to be Lamar.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, his stats won't change.
Like, Lamar doesn't need the superstar receiver. And they keep giving him superstar receiver,
Yeah, wake me up when it's playoff time for Lamar. I know what his stats are going to be. Can he
that's
get
the normal Lamar.
Can he get past Josh Allen? Can he beat Patrick Mahomes? That's the only question remaining with Lamar for me. He's the modern day Steve Young.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to get that gorilla off his back, if you will. And until he does that,
I truly believe Lamar will get one.
He's going to put up.
I don't know how. I don't think it's going to be multiple. I think he'll get one.
I don't know. I think Baltimore is where receivers go to die. I mean, all of them. Steve Smith. There is a litany of just receivers at the end of their career for whatever reason.
It's like I'm going to go there. I'm like, okay, like awesome. It's not like. It doesn't make you fear the Ravens more. Like, DeAndre Hopkins does not make you fear the Ravens more. You're like, oh, it's the same team. It's still Derrick Henry and Lamar. Like, okay. If we shut down the run, if you get a lead on Baltimore, the way you beat Baltimore is you get a lead on them. And then they have to play catch-up. When they play catch-up, they always abandon the run. No matter who their offensive coordinator is, they always abandon the run. And once they abandon the run, they're beatable.
They're still running the old school Ozzie Newsome approach. Right, and the Ozzie Newsome approach was make your defense as good as can be. We can have Trent Dilfer in his quarterback. Jamal Lewis is our running back. We don't prioritize the wide receiver position. Certain organizations and franchises just don't prioritize certain positions. And as you alluded to, Baltimore is just one of those. They may luck out. They may draft a guy. Zay Flowers has actually been pretty good, for them for a couple of years. But it's not. They don't put much stock into that position. And in today's modern NFL, with this year being the exception, where you had really a run-first team win, you've got to be able to pass the ball. You've got to be able to move the ball vertically in order to win
even though
games.
The Eagles were run first, they still had that passing game. Whereas, like, the Ravens depend, like, solely on the run game to open the pass. And then when they absolutely need the pass, it's like the third quarter, and they're like, yeah, we need this third and forever. And then the receivers aren't even warmed up by then. They're like, oh, we're going to break hand it every time. But, like, and then that brings me to Josh Allen signing $330 million. It's like, my God, man. It's like at some point, like these contracts are just out of hand. They're just ridiculous. It's like, no, it actually helps. It frees up cap so they could actually sign people, which is fine.
Yeah,
but
the way it worked out. Yeah.
Josh Palmer from the Chargers. Like, they didn't even renew Amari Cooper. They signed Joey Bosa. That's who they got. And they got Joey Bosa for a 1 year, $12 million deal.
It's Joey Bosa.
And then they signed their other edge guy, Rousseau, for 4 years, $80 million. That's cool. So you got two edge rushers.
Want to go back for a second. I seen the craziest stat ever, or maybe I'm sure everybody saw it, but Saquon Barkley got the record for most yards in a season, including the postseason. Right? You guys know who he beat?
Terrell
Davis. which is crazy to think about for a couple of reasons. Now, Saquon didn't play the last game, right?
No, he sat out the last game.
Okay, so that was a fair.
And he also sat out that other game that they were up big, and like he could have against the Giants. That's the one where he could like said like the single game record or whatever, and they're like, "You're so close," and he's like, "Nah, let the young guys eat."
Well, I didn't think about, but man, I didn't realize how dominant Terrell Davis is. Watching Saquon now and appreciating what he's doing, to realize that's what finally beat Terrell Davis. That's kind of crazy.
It looked buttery smooth. God, it was so good. Like when they were playing the Commanders, and he was just looking at Jalen going like, "Just give me the ball, man. I'm taking this to the house." Like I already know.
Yeah,
like, that was just slick. I like watching that clip of the Giants GM when he was like, "Oh yeah, if he goes to Philly, I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night." He went to Philly. Oh, it cracks me up.
I don't think Dave's ever been happier.
No, we play that clip on repeat here in Philadelphia. We've thanked Joe Shine, who's the general manager there on several occasions. For giving us Saquon, and the overall ineptness of the Giants franchise.
How could they? How could
they pay Daniel Jones what they paid him?
It's great.
And then just be like, yeah, you could just leave midseason. You could just go.
It's great for Saquon because he would never would have won anything in New York. They're not winning anything anytime soon. But how could they allow that to happen?
It makes you think, if Saquon would have played his first 4 years, or so in the league with a decent franchise, are we beginning the conversation about somebody who may be one of the greatest running backs, if not the greatest running back that's ever played?
He's definitely up there.
We'll see. We gave him a 2-year extension on top of what he already had. Here was an unprecedented thing. We're giving him 21 per year for 2 years after this deal is open, creates some cap space, some maneuverability for us, but it also keeps him here for an additional 2 years after the 2 years that he's up with. So thank you, New York.
We would really like to thank the Giants for this.
59th Super Bowl.
I too would like to thank the Giants for
yes, sir.
Trading you guys that piece so you could beat Kansas City. Like that was amazing. It was the best Super Bowl I've watched in a while, instead of having.
Oh, that was good.
I don't think anybody was not a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Every touchdown I was celebrating, running to their house. I was like, yes, that's another one. It should have been 40-6 or even worse, but then they're like,
it should have been worse.
Should have been worse. That should have been the worst Super Bowl in history. That's the only thing that you guys let me down on, Dave. So if you can make a phone call next time when you guys play the Chiefs, just the Chiefs, so the Broncos don't hold the worst Super Bowl record.
Like 1-3 or something like that. Like we have the worst, and then that's the third worst or something.
Yeah, they got a couple of them on the list.
Shut up, there.
The 49ers one, and the
43-8 and 55-10. Mm-hmm. Nightmares. That's nightmare fuel for me.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Giants.
No, I want to go back to the Bills and be like, you want to talk about nightmare fuel? How about you go to 4 in a row? 4 in a row and lose all 4. That'll kill you. But I'm pulling for Josh Allen. I hope they do something. I would like to see Buffalo get a ring. At least I'd like to see Josh Allen get one. I think that dude deserves one. No,
I don't know if they will.
Man, they're like cursed.
Yeah.
They got to have that Peyton Manning, Jeff Daniels fucking chant like they did for the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions. Which I don't think the Lions are going to get one in the next few years either. I think they're going to miss it.
They had a nice window, man. They really did. And now they lost their OC. They lost their DC. Speaking of DC, like, Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, and I was like, I don't know, man. It's going to be the Jets with Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. I'm like, ooh, that's bad. That's a...
Yeah. Dave, what do you think of Tiki and Rondé Barber?
There was a feud this year between Barber and Saquon. He was pretty mad that Saquon left New York, and, I didn't really understand. If there's anybody that you can't criticize in the NFL, it's Saquon. He's an amazing teammate. He's an amazing human being. He's an amazing player. I just don't see any room for criticism. And for him to throw his opinion in, showed me how short-sighted he was. It showed me how wrong he was. And it showed me how much vitriol he had, for somebody who did nothing but great things for the city. So I don't have any love, for either one of those guys. Listen, the one guy played for the Giants. The other guy had an interception in the huge NFC Championship game when he played for Tampa Bay against the Eagles. I can't stand any of the Broncos.
I spoke like a true Philly fan. Screw the Giants.
Yeah.
Well, and for Tiki Barber, to be mad at Saquon for leaving, like Saquon played with a garbage team. Tiki Barber had a decent team with the Giants. Like, I wouldn't have left either if I was Tiki Barber. But if I'm Saquon, I got to get the fuck out of this place.
All right, the question is this, Dave. More deserving of the Hall of Fame, Eli Manning or the Barber brothers?
Eli Manning.
Fuck you, Dave. You know what? You're not invited back.
Is Eli Manning first ballot Hall of Famer to you? We agree on this.
I mean,
not first ballot. He's a Hall of Famer, just not first ballot. When you're a career 500, nah.
Would you think Kiki and Rondé get in one day?
I do believe. Yeah, the bar in the NFL is much different than Major League Baseball. So yeah, the bar is not as high. I could see those guys, getting in.
Yeah, it's hard to get in Cooperstown. It is hard to get in Cooperstown. I mean, Pete Rose never saw it. Bastards.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump's trying to pardon him posthumously. So
this shit going on in dollars. So Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, we already talked about his tactics. Keep him guessing. I'm just gonna keep saying shit. I'm gonna keep calling Canada the 51st state or Greenland 51st state. Like I'm gonna call someone the 51st state just to piss him off, and then I'm gonna go talk shit to somebody else, and then I'm gonna have people in the Oval Office and talk shit to them too. That's fine. That's what we do.
Yes, got his
that's his presidential picture. Is
the
the mugshot. I was like, oh my god, this guy.
Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, at this point, he's like a drunk grandpa, but you're like, I really like this grandpa, man. I like hanging out with this guy. Like, I could hang out with this guy all day.
What I don't understand is, like, I don't even know why he's worried about Pete Rose at this point.
Something else. Do something else. It's fine. He's going to cover all aspects of American society. Here we go. Speaking of another aspect, did you hear Angel Reese saying if the WNBA doesn't give the players what they want, they out? You realize that if they were to pay you, if they paid you what they pay NBA players, like in contrast to like the contract versus the revenue, they would actually pay them less. Like you guys would actually make less money. Like I wouldn't be asking for that. Like you would, you would make less money.
Yes,
it's kind of funny.
They don't care about the revenue. They just want to be paid what the NBA players make, regardless of revenue.
Millions.
They don't want to base off anything other than gender equality. Which it's
and
not.
If Brittany Griner was that good, she'd be in the NBA.
Especially coming from Angel Reese.
Yes.
Like
my favorite things anymore, the TikTok videos of Angel Reese shooting the ball. They're like, oh, Angel Reese's favorite shot, long two.
Oh, yeah.
Bang. And it just misses. Horrible.
Yeah, bang. It's so fucking... She gets 3 rebounds, offensive rebounds off her own missed shots before she finally makes it. Like, yeah, she gets a lot of
Have you seen the McDonald's
ones?
The people go to McDonald's, they get the Angel Reese meal, and they're like, they go to fill up their cup with soda and they miss. It's like shooting on their hand. They go to dunk their fries and they miss the ketchup. I was like, oh my god, this is hysterical. And then they get the Reese's Pieces, the cereal, and they go to throw it in the cart and they miss every time. I'm like,
throw it in the cart, dump it in the bowl.
I was like, you're bad. You miss a lot when there's memes of it like everywhere, and they're just savagely trolled. But then you watch Caitlin Clark and you're like, dude, Caitlin Clark looks legit. Like, she good.
Caitlin Clark could probably be a sixth man in the NBA.
She good. She got a smooth stroke and everything. I was like, look at this girl.
Listen, you're shaking your head, Dave. Have you watched this girl play?
Well, let me get on Angel Reese first, and I'm going to tell you about Caitlin Clark, Vic. All right. Angel Reese is the Moses Malone of the WNBA. Okay. She shoots a layup from one side, misses it, gets the rebound on the other side, misses it again. She pads her numbers. She's the Moses Malone of the WNBA for me. And let me tell you about Caitlin Clark. I just started playing hoops again. I got hurt a little bit ago, Vic. I just played for the first time the other night. And I told you, when I run up and down the court, I think I'm moving quick, but I'm really moving in quicksand. All right. I'm playing with guys half my age. And I'm telling you, these guys wouldn't make a high school JV team. And about 3/4 of those guys will be able to cover Caitlin Clark.
Well, that's just men versus women.
It's true. It's true. Yes. Just in general.
Yeah. So listen. Could she play if she can come off the screen? I don't think she ever gets a shot off. I don't think she's physical enough to play in the league. I mean, that's just
that comes down to like
thing.
When what was it, like 15-year-old boys played like the best women's soccer team or a women's soccer team and they beat them like 15-0.
Yeah. Well, yes. Have you seen the video of Sabrina Ionescu playing against high school
kids? Does he straight cook her?
No.
Like it's some exhibition game. It's like mixed gender. I don't know what it is. But that fucking kid shuts her down all over the place.
The
Who are you
3-point
talking about again?
shooter from the one
Sabrina
that went against Steph.
Ionescu, but she does a 3-point contest with Steph, and everyone says she could play in the NBA. A 17-year-old fucking shut her down bad.
Gary, all day, every day.
Oh yeah. They can't do it. Like there's good women basketball players
Yes.
against other women.
I mean, when you got to play
There's
against
a
Angel Reese,
difference.
who's going to miss, a layup, like you got a chance.
Yeah.
In a row,
3 layups.
consecutively. You know what consecutive means, right?
Like there's just a difference between men's athletic ability and women's athletic ability.
That's reasonable.
And they even admit it. Like most of them admit it. Like we could not compete. Serena Williams could not compete against fucking any top male tennis player.
Didn't she say like her
Like, she
serve
wouldn't
wasn't
be
like
what she is?
like nowhere near what like the top like 20 guys were or something like that?
It's not near as fast. Yeah.
Tennis is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those dudes that play tennis like that are good,
Yeah.
serving 150 miles an hour. Could you imagine
Yeah.
a 150
Coming straight
mile
at
an
you,
hour
or you
ball?
got to chase it? Nah, man.
Yeah.
Vic, I have advice. I have advice for the women of the WNBA. My advice is this: stay in college as long as you can, and maximize your NIL money. Figure out a way to increase your eligibility. Get 5 to 6 to even 7 years with the new college rules, because the dollars in the WNBA compared to the NIL and marketing dollars you're going to get in college is stark. I mean, the television deal for men, I said, is 11 years, $7 billion. It's 11 years, $2.2 billion for the women. It's only $200 million a year. Unless those ratings rise, they don't really have a right to ask for that much more money at this time. Now, the money will go up. The ratings will rise. The revenue share will change. They're still sharing revenue with the NBA 50-50 right now on things. So I think salaries will rise. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I think Angel Reese needs to do her homework on the business side of things before she really
don't they
speaks
make like
on this.
$70K? Like, isn't that like base salary?
75.
So that leads
wow.
us to another question. What's harder, baseball, football, basketball, or hockey? What's the hardest sport to you, Dave?
I'm biased here. I have a son that plays baseball. I think hitting a 90-something mile per hour pitch is the hardest thing to do in sports.
That's not what I said. I said the most elite athletes.
Yeah,
now
so-
ask that question.
You said
Least
the
talented sport
least
was baseball.
talented sport was baseball. Were the exact words.
The most elite athletes are NBA players.
The least talented was the words. But
Bartolo Colon. See?
talented.
See him shaking their head?
Talented.
Yeah,
Talented.
and we were talking talent and skill.
Athletes, we were
like
talking talent.
skill-wise to hit a ball, hard as fuck.
And you said baseball was the least talented, least skilled sport.
And then we said the hardest
That's an
position, though,
overgeneralization.
is probably quarterback in the NFL. And
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
an
hardest
individual
sports to play is
position,
hockey,
absolutely.
because you got to skate and hit a goddamn puck.
Dave?
I think the toughest guys play hockey, in my estimation. Those guys don't miss a shift. Doesn't matter
missing teeth,
what
everything.
happens to them. They're back next shift. I mean, listen, I'm in Philly, right? I get the privilege and the joy of watching Joel Embiid and Paul George.
Well, you only
to
watch
the
Joel Embiid for like
right?
9 games a year, so that's
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. If you combine the number of games they play and times it by 2 or 3, it doesn't equal 82. It means Paul George is now consulting with a doctor to see what his options are.
I
He's
didn't
not
know he's
playing.
still
Yeah.
in the league.
Remember we had that weird
Yeah,
stat where he
well,
was on
Vicky-
more podcasts than actual games in the NBA this year?
Yeah.
He came out. He was chivalrous. He came out and told the Philadelphia fans he's going to take a break from podcasting for a little bit and try to resume, training for his NBA career. That was probably, the most positive thing that he's done since he's been signed here.
Do you think the
You know what I mean?
Sixers should trade Embiid?
I thought the Sixers should have traded Embiid 2 to 3 years ago, before he reached the apex of not being able to play basketball. I mean, he came in the league with, if you guys remember Amari Stoudemire, Embiid came in the league with the same injury that Amari Stoudemire had. And I know medical, technology has evolved. It's a tough injury for a big guy to come back with. So, he missed his first 2 years in the league. They're not going to be able to trade Embiid without eating a large portion of his salary. They're not going to be able to trade Paul George without eating a large portion of his salary. The question here in Philly right now is, does Tyrese Maxey want to stick around for the circus that is going to be the next 365 days, or is he going to try to, force their hand and make a trade and start what looks to be a promising career, elsewhere.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed.
Yeah.
So what other teams do you like, Dave?
So,
like, what's your other team? Do you have a team outside of Philly, or are you just hometown?
no.
Well, not really. I'm hometown. I'm 4-for-4 guy, in Philly, but I have favorite players. Tom Brady was my favorite football player, and Derek Jeter was my favorite baseball player. Sustained greatness for me is something that is remarkable. So seeing guys that do that and win consistently like that, day in and day out, with the most amount of pressure on them in two big market cities, I just think.
So Tom Brady, I couldn't
remarkable.
stand Tom Brady when we was with New England. As soon as he went to Tampa, I was like, I like this guy. He had a great career. Love this dude.
He was.
Yeah, he was
once
awesome when he went
got
to Tampa. Like, it's like, oh, this is the guy. This is the guy we need.
Well, who would have thought, right? I mean, Tom Brady in Tampa was a totally different human being, right? And Bill Belichick's dating 24-year-old women. I don't think we would have known either
Bill
one of those
Belichick's not losing, and now he gets to prowl at college campus. So that's got to be like Chris Hansen, just freaking out, like, oh my God, this guy's gonna do something.
Yeah, just waiting to
He's
show
got the
up.
lemonade and
Chris
cookies
Hansen's
ready.
like, here's going to be another episode.
I don't
is that
think
guy
so.
still on?
I don't know if they still do that Dateline to Catch a Predator. I don't think they do.
Joe Biden walks in.
Doesn't remember why he's there, but he's there.
Have a seat.
Speaking of To Catch a Predator, are you guys as disappointed as I am with the lack
Yes.
of Epstein files?
The smoke show that happened, the smoke and mirrors, the illusion that we were going to get any
Yeah.
information.
They just all put on a show
Yeah.
to make it look like something was going to happen, and they're like, "Yeah,
fool
got you guys."
Yeah, because
That's
it all
terrible.
comes down to Israel. Really,
Terrible.
there's got to be somebody from Israel on that list.
And you got to spend again. Good job. Cut that part out because we got to spend again. That's really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just owned.
That's the short and skinny of
yeah.
it.
It is what it
That's
is.
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll wrap us for this week on Next Four Quarters. As always, if you like what we did, let us know. If you don't like what we did, let us know. And as always, like, follow, and subscribe. And we thank Dave for joining us this week. Hey, man, you're welcome any week. We try to do
Thanks,
this once a
fellas.
week. We try to do it on like a Thursday or a Saturday, depending on Gary's schedule. So, yeah, you're welcome anytime, man. Like having you on. And, yeah, you seem to know a lot about
Good.
sports, so that helps us. That helps keep the narrative going. And you at least give us a perspective from, Philly. Yeah, because
Another
we're super
area.
Denver
Yeah, different
fans here. So, we get biased.
Hey, listen, I talk to Vic. I talk to Vic quite a lot, so yeah, I know where Vic stands. You know what I mean?
We'll see you guys.
So I just got to know: Does Vic send you topless guys also, or is
Well,
that just us?
Listen, to borrow a term from Goodwill Hunting. You know what I mean? Do we need to devote some time to this, Vic?
Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Laughter and memories, it's our holiday. From old memories to new jokes, we're ready to deal. Life's a wacky game.